Good evening, Carlos, dear one.
Hello, Maura. How are you?
I am doing exceptional this evening. It is very great to connect to you.
This is wonderful. I can't express the joy that I feel in my heart to finally be communicating with you in this way.
Yes, after all the connections that we've shared, to have it in this way is such beautiful resonance, is it not?
It's outstanding. It's wonderful. As I said, I have no words. So I feel your energy in my heart. I also feel Alma's energy in my heart. So my love to her too, please.
Yes, she is here and wished for me to express to you a very great gratitude for your previous conversation and as well as your connections ever since.
I am very grateful. Yeah, I know she's around me. I feel her as I feel you. Her energy gives me a lot of joy, and she's so wise. I very much enjoy her energy around me. All my love to her. She's always in my heart.
She says that she loves you also, Father.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow. Boy, you guys taking over my heart here. Take it easy on me.
Yes, the oversensing of love is something that you are growing more accustomed to in our connection. It has always been potent, but the potency of the love is expressed more through your excitement, and this overwhelmingness takes us as well. We are very deeply loving you and connecting to you and appreciate that you come to us in the same manner.
Yes, and I always connect with you, as you know, and hopefully the same will continue with the rest of the family. I hope to be able to connect as I do with the two of you and in our communications with them also when we can.
Alma wished for me to express to you in the same way that in the last time she had mentioned to you her great love and connection will be there as long as you are willing to let it in, and it is always so. And the more open and accepting you are to the connection and communication, the more centered you become in understanding your permanent connection to your family here.
Excellent, excellent. I have been sharing some of her thoughts that she shares with me that apply in general to others in our group, and the same with yours. And they're very well accepted. They really enjoy your energy and the thoughts that you share with me that I share with them. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you for sharing your thoughts and your heart with us as well. As much as you learn from this, we are also learning, not just in the connection and communication, but vibrationally understanding the human experience more greatly than we ever anticipated to.
Great, and I feel the same. And I guess that brings me to my first question. Um, and you're connecting with Alma too, so anytime that she has some input that you two want to share, it's fine with me. But in general, how is it that I understand we're part of the same soul group, but even in that case, in other civilizations, I don't have such a strong connection, such a feeling of home, of family, of knowing, why is it that we have that such a strong connection?
In our connection lies a more great energy than it does in other connections that you have. Because if you look at time linearly as you experience it, you see a time beginning and a time ending. And in the time that you call your future, most likely in your probability, you will incarnate into one of us. You will incarnate into the Kalaman Satara race. And we are all here very highly connected to you now. And the more that you move into this vibration of complete love, complete connection, the more likely that your future ends up being with us here. Just as the entity vessel, Rob, I believe, is a futuristic connection or a reverse futuristic connection to Trebor, it is the same way here.
I see. I see. Are there others with you now?
Yes, the whole family is here.
The
It's not
family.
just Alma.
My
There's
love to all
Tara,
of them.
Tamara, Solar.
My
Yes,
love to all of them. A big hug from Father here.
and they all accept this love and give it back to you equally.
Thank you. I feel it. Phew. Wow. Uh, well, let me try to ask you some questions if we can move forward that way so I can learn more.
Absolutely. This is what the connection is for.
Great. Um, are you right now in different locations on your planet?
No, we are all physically together in this day.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Um, have I been there? I know last time in communicating with Alma, with your assistance in the background, have I been there astrally? Yes, it was confirmed many times. What about in physical?
In the physical way, you've been with us, but not upon our planet physically. Astrally, yes, there is confirmation that there's been hundreds of astrally. There is one conditional energetic principle that stands in the way of bringing you here. And in this time, you are more close to achieving it, more so and more so. The restrictions that humanity has placed on themselves to come outside of Earth is very difficult to overcome. Very many belief systems of the collective, and the more that you break away from this collective, the more closely you resonate to the ability to have yourself physically upon our planet. There is a difference in the way that you will perceive our planet and the way that we do. When you come to this planet, it will be a different version of that planet on the higher vibrational realm that we exist on. We have to change ourselves to participate with you physically. We have to break ourselves down slightly. And when we do this, the planet is in that same nature. It must break itself down into each density below it. So as you will experience the planet, you will not experience it in the same nature as you do astrally. And this is why this type of journey that you will make in the future has not been made yet. The enjoyability of it is much more energetically correct when you come to an astral state.
I see. What dimension or density are you?
There's the fifth density.
I see.
You're
I see.
physically able to communicate with Trev.
I see. I see. That's why we have a difference of density then.
Yes, and this does not change the fact that we can and have seen you physically, as you are well aware. It is just a separate version of us. Almost the same as if you're writing a text message to someone. You send part of yourself. You send a part of your heart and part of your mind, and it manifests into a separate message, a smaller part of consciousness that travels forward. This is the same that we do to physically interact with you.
But I have been on your spacecrafts in physical.
Absolutely, you have.
Okay. Um, as you may know, I have a farm in South America, in Uruguay, which is a very blessed place, and I was able to see um, spacecraft flying over the place every night, from 1 to 7 per night. Were any of those from your civilization?
Yes, the
They
ones
were.
that come in and have physical blue-white light, those are us. Some appear to be slightly more white or darker blue, and some appear to be metallic in nature. The ones that produce the blue-white light are the ones that we come from.
I see, because obviously this was done at night. I could not perceive, and of course, it's quite a distance that you're flying at. But some were very, very different. Some seemed to fly lower than others, of course, and that sort of thing. But the way it started, I was told to go outside and look at a specific point in the sky at night, and that's how it started. So somehow I got that message, and every single night I was able to see craft. Glad to hear some of those were yours. That explains some things.
Your heart's resonance always leads you back to your family.
Yes. Wow. Great. Great. Uh, wow. Forgive my reactions, but from our human perspective, some of these things are so uplifting, so surprising, so wonderful. I'm very glad to hear that.
We
Wow.
understand very much.
Maura, how? By the way, am I saying your name correctly?
Yes, Maura or
Yes.
Maura, this is
Yes.
correct.
Excellent. Excellent. Would you share with me how we met at some point? Correct.
Correct.
Would you share how and when that happened?
Yes, it was approximately 20 of your years before, and your time in connecting physically and non physically. The very first meetings were non physical, they were in a sleep state. They were while you dreamed. You were always looking for something more. You were always reaching out with your heart. And there's where
Yes.
we found you. And as this came, then we began to physically be able to connect. We were able to connect to you in a physical manner and take you on the ships of ours and bring it above your atmosphere. And the very first time that you had met, you had several crystals within your own possession. These are the ones that you gave to the children as presents.
Oh, yes. Yes. Thank you for reminding me of all that. Yes. That's why they are from Earth. They
That is
look
exactly why they are from Earth.
they look like a stone that we have here on Earth called a cat's eye.
And they are all very beautiful. And isn't it such a resonant idea that these crystal cat eyes are the same as in the name of feline? It is a
Yes.
very, very high resonance point. I believe synchronicity is what you call this.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for answering that. I've been wondering about that. And I knew you didn't want to spoil the surprise, so I thank you for that too.
I waited until we were able to speak more directly, dear one.
You were very patient, Maura. Thank you.
And thank you for your patience, as sometimes understanding humans, it is very difficult in some ways to hold on to an idea and to wait for the answer. But in our own way of seeing, this wait produces more excitement. Thank you for allowing me to keep your excitement high.
Oh, you're certainly very uplifting for me, Maura. Very uplifting. Uh, so from that point, obviously this was on a spacecraft, was it?
Yes,
Okay. From that point that we met in physical, would you share with me how we decided to manage to create children?
the way that we created the children is an agreement, one that understood that an expansion of the physical self and conscious self can produce many more pathways of excitement. There is a subconscious portion of you that's always wanted to have a family outside of this planet. It's the part of you that connects to your future versions of yourself. Our race has been involved in connecting to humans in a reproductive way for many, many years. And as we wished to connect to you physically, you wished to connect energetically and expand the family. And as you did this, approximately 2.5 years after your time of connecting is when you decided that the very first child could be born.
I see. Was this done through a DNA exchange or?
This is done in an energetic sexual fashion. Your astral projected self has a sexual self as well. Energetically, the
Yes.
reproductive organs of yours physically are taken, added to mine physically, and then energetically, the sexual energy is able to produce the consciousness conduit within.
Well, I had a feeling that's how it was because our connection is so strong. But I'm glad you confirmed that for me. Thank you. So
Absolutely.
so we basically were in physical when this happened.
Absolutely. The physical self in a sexual way.
Well, your eyes have left an imprint on me forever because every time I look at them, I see a longing, I see history, I see a lot of things, and they very deeply connect with mine. And there's a lot of memories there, and I'm glad you're helping me bring them back.
This
And
love for us is so deeply connected, and I appreciate your willingness to share a version of yourself, a part of yourself, a great part of your heart and mind with us.
it is wonderful. It is wonderful. It is my privilege. Ah, well, so and from there we have continued our relationship in the sense of communication, astral visits, occasional physical visits, that sort of thing.
Absolutely. And this is how we were able to produce the 4 children that we have together.
Ah, how wonderful! That's why I have such a strong sense of family with you and the kids. I call them kids here, the children, of course, I'm referring to. But there's such a strong sense there that, wow, this is explaining a lot. How? Let me ask you just a simple question here. Could you share how tall you are and how tall are the children?
Yes, so we're very similar to the human size, the height, The weight, very similar. The average woman on your planet, from our understanding, is approximately 5'4" to 5'7", and this is very similar to us. For instance, I am 5'8". If you go to the oldest daughter, Tara, she is only 2 inches smaller than I am. And if you go down to the next in line, and then we see Maura, then she is approximately 1 inch shorter than Tara. And then we go to Alma, and she is approximately 4'8".
I
And so
see.
Lara is approximately 3'10".
Yes, yes, the young one. And for example, a male adult, how tall can, what tall, I'm sorry, how tall can they get?
The males in our planet, the tallest that they usually get will be about 6'9".
Okay,
This is not average. The average is about 6'4".
okay. Because in one of my astral journeys, I was walking, as I was sharing with Alma and you last time, it felt like your planet, and there was a male companion next to me who was sort of guiding me around the place. And maybe it wasn't the same planet. I guess this is a question I had for you. But he was very tall. Like I'm about 5'9", for example, and his shoulder was at the top of my head. So he had to be 6'6", for example. And I wanted to see if that's the normal height, and apparently it is. Is there somebody else in the family that in the male sector that would be tall?
There is a distant relative, and it's not connected to your physical lineage, but it's connected to our energetic family. His name is Gulera.
Uh-huh. Is there somebody else that would be connected to me in your civilization?
Well, there are many that are connected to us, and the way that we experience you is that you are a connected part to us, that you are literally a part of our family. So everything that's connected to us is connected to you, and we're connected to many in several ways.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Um, are you familiar with a civilization known as the Yael?
Yes, this is one that we know of.
Are you aware, or did you know that I also have family there?
This is understood from energetic connection. We are not aware of the exact members of this family, but we are very intimately acquainted with the knowledge that you have within your energy. And within your energy, there are so many tales to be told. And one of the tales is that you are connected deeply to the Ayel as well.
Great, thank you. Yeah, I was just curious how, if there was a knowing of each other's, and yeah, you've answered that. Wow, excellent, excellent. Wow, okay. um, I'm trying to think of the questions. That this is just so overwhelming. I guess you've explained a lot of them already. Now, you have never been on Earth, have you?
Yes,
You have.
yes.
Yeah.
I have been on Earth, not in the ground or on the ground, but in the sky's atmosphere. I've been to Earth.
Okay, and the spacecraft, but you never landed.
No, when we connected to you, you were brought into the ship.
Would you be able to tell me how that process is? How does that work?
The process of bringing one physical self into the ship?
Yeah, of bringing me into the ship, for example.
Yes, there's a technology that we have that neutralizes all of the atomic structures in your physical body. It makes it almost to the point where you're able to vibrate at a fifth dimensional level. And a fifth dimensional level physical body has no restraints when it comes through walls, comes through ceilings, comes through trees. And this is making it lighter than your light. The light that you have on your planet is understandably the quickest and least solid object. It is higher vibrationally than this.
I see. I see. So I can go from physical on Earth, go through that process, and again be physical on the spacecraft.
Absolutely. In fact, it's very much preferred that one stays in its natural state. If we were to keep you in that fifth dimensional state for too long, Your consciousness and body could not adjust to that very well, so it is only done for quick transportative means.
I see. Let me share something with you, if I may. Something that I am working on. Let me ask you first, please. Are you familiar with the website group that we have?
I am very familiar with this, and it brings me great joy and excitement to see that many on your planet are excited to connect to what you call galactic family, to have the hybrid children connections to all races that they are connected to. This brings us great joy and excitement because now Earth is joining a league of entities that wishes to connect further than themselves, further than their own atmosphere. And as you were a third density being just a couple of years ago, now you are growing into the fourth density beings that you are. Now you are growing consciously into the mindset of being able to connect to all races instead of only your own.
Yes, yes, thank you. Thank you for acknowledging that. I have been fortunate to find a couple of other members of the soul group, just like you and I are on Earth, uh, by synchronicity, and we formed this group to make everybody else aware. And that's why it's so great to have your input, because a lot of the thoughts that you share about the connections and how we complicate it and all that are being shared on the side, including pictures of you and Alma so far. I hope to have everybody's there. They all are there, but as far as your thoughts are there now too. So I was just curious about that.
Absolutely exciting for us. We wish to share all of the information, all of the thoughts, all of the communications. It is understood that there are many filters through communications. When we communicate to Trebor and Trebor connects to this entity here, the communication is a slightly different communication than it would be when I come to you. And when I come to you, it's slightly different than when I go to Awaken. And I go to the entity Vashta, it's slightly different than it is. Each one of you have a separate individual way to receive and perceive the explanations and communications. But the one thing that you have to remember in this, the one thing that can lead you from discouragement of this, is the heart's resonance. All of these hearts are resonant to the one concept of sharing ideals, of sharing communication, of looking further than themselves, understanding their connection to all that is. And this is the most beautiful thing that all of us can share with each other.
That is wonderful, wonderful. So I imagine Vashta and Awaken are also part of your same soul group.
Absolutely, they are. And this is why it's so easy to resonate and work with them.
Excellent, excellent. I wanted to, from that, what we just shared, I wanted to explain something that I'm trying to do and see if there's a way that maybe you have some ideas or suggestions. I am trying to I'm trying to take the next step in this process. The Yael are cooperating with me, including other civilizations. And what I'm trying to do is this, and I wanted to see if there's some input, some ideas on your side. I'm trying to find a way to promote the idea internationally. As you probably are aware, in my life here, I spent a lot of time in international promotions, marketing, that sort of thing. And I wanted to take this idea from where we are to different parts of the world. In order to do that, I feel that I need some solid concrete proof, something that I could show that cannot be from this world, something that I can demonstrate that was obtained in another planet with another civilization. And I was thinking it should be something that I can physically do, some form of control of energy, something to that effect, or have some object or some technology or something that I could demonstrate along with my explanation and in my description and all the information that I could possibly deliver as far as showing the existence of the extraterrestrial civilizations. I was curious if you had any thoughts or suggestions on this.
There are many ways to come about this. The very first is to understand that an object from another planet can be easy to obtain, but through most of the channels that you work with, most of the connections that you work with are what Trebor calls Type 1 beings. These entities don't wish to perhaps step in the way of progress of any one race. So if you were asked them to bring technology to them and to show you the technology that they have, most of them would be very resistant. But this does not mean that all of them will. There are many Type 1 entities who understand that your wish and excitement to connect is a tool that you are able to use to cultivate those barriers that are once put up by the beliefs of most Type 1 beings. So the concept or best idea that I am able to give to you is look for these Type 1 entities. Place your intent out to the Type 1 entities who are willing to share this great breaking through. Most entities are worried of the collective and how they will receive knowledge of the outside world. There are so many religions that take very high understandings of one God, one race, one
Yes.
planet. And because of this, it complicates many energetic things. Stepping into a resonance or stepping into a vibration that says, I wish to connect with a Type 1 entity who will assist us in breaking through the barriers of religion. Placing that intent will bring you the correct conduit, the entity that is willing to help you with this.
I see. The Yael are assisting me in that in a different fashion, not so much with bringing an object or that sort of thing, but as far as consciously visiting their civilization. In other words, rather than randomly be, say, on your spacecraft in physical, actually willing and deciding when to do it and requesting it and making it happen. In other words, the conscious awareness of the process of going onto an aircraft, a spacecraft.
Absolutely. This is done very often. Most of the times it is dismissed. Most entities look at these people who are brought upon these ships as if they are crazy or insane. And this is what makes it very difficult to bring this type of connection as a way of proof.
Understood. And you made a good point about the religious portion too. Very, very good point. Uh, But let me ask you, is it possible for me to do that with you, with your civilization on your spacecraft, to consciously will the visit?
It is always possible to bring us and to call us upon you and to consciously connect to us. There is something that has been within the energy that hasn't allowed. When you are able to go to our planet, this is the very last step of conscious forgetting, of non-conscious remembering. The energetic self is stepping up into a ladder. Each time it takes a step higher, and the more that you open your heart, the more unconditionally that you love, not just us, because it is easy to love us. You know your connection to us. But it is those who ridicule you, those who try to impede on your progress of sharing this wonderful thing. This is the unconditional love that all humans are not capable of yet. And so many as yourself are so close to this point. You have broken down so many barriers, and it is almost this time for the last barrier to be broken. And once this barrier is broken, you will remember all of the visits more consciously.
I see. And I see. So, if I understand this correctly, then there's some steps that still need to be taken for me to be able to consciously visit your planet in physical.
With our race, yes, but there are many races that are allowing more conscious connection with less of a vibrational frequency, but most of these are fourth density beings. Because your vibration is so close to theirs, it is much easier to resonate with them.
I see. I see. So, is there a way for me in astral, it'd be better in physical, to retain full awareness and consciousness and memory of being on the spacecraft with you?
In astral state, this is the easiest to do in the energy that you are in now. It is the most easiest because you are literally breaking the part of consciousness that is vibrationally equal to us in that point. And this is why you will better be able to perceive the full planet, to be able to perceive not just the moons that we have, not just the jungles that we have, not just the dwellings, but each individual, each interaction, each connection and conversation that you have.
And I would be able to remember it?
Absolutely. This step is able to be done now. There are belief systems that tell you it's difficult to remember these astral states. In your sleep state, this is one of the best. But when it comes to proof, sleep state is very difficult to obtain. Many people believe that this is only a dream. So if you wish to receive the information, not caring of the proof of others, the dream state is most definitely the least resistant of all.
But if I wanted to do it not in a sleep state, in an aware state,
Yes, then a meditative state is the next best in an astral state. And then if the physical self comes, you are growing towards this point now. With our race, with other races, there are ways to physically do this now. It is to place your intent in the same way, to connect to a race that is in the fourth density, that is able and willing to physically connect you, to physically help you remember these things, to physically say there is no manipulation of memory. There is no agreement that must be made that cannot let you take this experience with you.
I see. I see. Thank you for that.
Absolutely, dear one.
I am working on that right now. As far as your civilization, is there any way that in one of my visits I could bring back that I don't want to call it proof, but something some I don't know. Here we have pictures and film and stuff, something that would be able to record that event, the actual visit.
When you're able to consciously remember the connection, when you're consciously able to come and remember and physically be with us, then yes, this is very easy. In the astral state, it is not, because you are trying to transfer matter that is from fifth dimension to a third to fourth dimension. And this can be very difficult to transfer these things. Treb has talked to an entity before, and I am receiving the name now. Pli-na-ki, that belongs to the Pleiadian society. And this Pleiadian being tried very often and very hardly. I'm not sure if these words appropriately fit this idea, but very diligently tried to connect physical things from his density to the density that was then third density. And this was an impossible and daunting task.
I imagine. I imagine. Well, Maura, would you share with me what I can do? Maybe some suggestions, some specifics. What can I do now to start working towards that with your civilization?
To just continue to release judgments, continue to release any resistance within you that isn't allowing you to see everything as one. You are still defining specific things as broken down things. And yes, we understand that things have definitions. We understand that things must be called something. But in the way of division, there is still a seeing of separate countries. There's a seeing of separate races. There's a seeing of separate everything. To break down those borders of separateness and to see the borders or lack of borders of oneness. This will help so much more tremendously. You are very dear and very open, and by a human being standard, you are very, very high vibrationally and very in tune to what your heart is. But this is a human standard, and we are on a fifth dimensional standard. There is a
Understood.
separation of vibration, although this does not make you less than us. It only makes you different. So bringing a difference to us will always keep you separate from us. But when you bring the same to us, then you will always be able to see us.
Oh, excellent explanation. Excellent. Now, so when we were on the craft, you were still in fifth density and I was in astral, correct?
No, in this, I was able to put you into a physical self. Your self belonged in the same density. And remember how I explained these text messages, how you
Yes.
have to break off. I was
Yes.
breaking a part of myself off to show you a physical part that could be adjusted to your understanding.
It's very interesting. So did you, from the fifth, you almost came down to a fourth for a physical manifestation yourself?
At that time, I brought myself down to a third.
To a third, and that's how we were together.
That's how we
Understood.
were physically. And when I adjusted back to the fifth, this is the energetic resonance. The love resonance that we shared was enough to make it be the conduit from one density to the next.
Ah, excellent. Excellent. Oh, I see. I'm trying to wrap my mind around this concept. I understand it. I understand it.
If it
Very
is a math if it is a math equation that you look at, I was dividing myself so that I could add myself to you and then multiply myself back to where I was from.
and but the children are also in fifth density.
Yes, they are absolutely. These are carrying the fifth dimensional genes. They are all in the fifth dimensional setting.
And this, I guess, opens up a door to ask you a question about how is your world in fifth density, your planet? I mean, the idea of being in a planet in fifth density, how does that work? How do you do things? How do you transport? How do you manifest different things?
Our manifestation skills, as we are just in this very beginning of the fifth density stage in the last 200 years to 300 years, we are just having the instant manifestation. We still build things with our hands, but the intent that we place, the learning processes that we share, are all congruent to being able to learn more manifestational skills. Time is not fluid with us, or time is more fluid with us. And as it is linear with you, it is more fluid. We're able to jump backwards and forwards into different perceptions. We are not a master of this manifestational skill as Trebor is, but we are very, very intimately understanding how it works, and we are able to manifest in much greater paces than you are as a human race. But we
Yeah,
are able not to do as instantaneously with a very quick second as Trebor and his race is. They are well into the end of their fifth density experience.
understood. Alma had shared some of that last time. And what about transportation? I mean, is it like we do? You walk or do you glide or?
We are able to take ourselves in the same way that we would divide consciousness. Um, Let us explain it in this way. When we are connecting from one spot to the next within our own planetary confinement, when we are part of the collective consciousness of our planet, we are the same as this math equation. We are only changing one variable in the entire equation, which is our location. We are able to do this with intent, and then we are changing places. When we leave the planet, we must leave with our crafts. But when we are on our own planet, because we are so connected to our own planet vibrationally, because the planet is a part of our consciousness and an extension of our consciousness, we are able to input a separate place into the equation. And once we do, then the variable changes and our physical body changes with it.
Understood. So it's more of a teleporting scenario in some cases.
If we are on planet, yes.
Yes, 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 on planet, yes. Huh. Now, as far as your spacecrafts, I feel like I've been on several, and I have memories, bits and pieces from several different situations and events. Uh, how large are your spacecrafts?
Well, there are many shapes. Each one of those crafts are also manifestations of our collective protruding out into a physical manner. So we are able to have several shapes and sizes. There are ones that are as large as 3 miles in width, and there are
Wow.
some as small as are able to only fit two entities.
Oh, like a sports spacecraft, like a sports car here on Earth type thing. Yeah,
Yes,
very interesting.
a luxury sedan, perhaps.
Yes, yes, exactly what I visualized. Are they
Yes, dear one.
are they any particular shape? Are they triangular, oval?
There are many shapes. Each individual's want and desire for a specific geometrical pattern manifest out. There are some entities who prefer the triangular shape, as that shape is more resonant geometrically with their energetic form. Some build, I believe, a dodecahedron. I'm not sure of this terminology, but it is 20-sided. Some come in pure circular form. It is very dependent on either the one entity or the group of entities who desire to connect and go out of the planet. Their co-creation is what builds the actual craft's physical self.
How, which ones do you usually travel in?
When I am with family, we are always in one that is oval. It is not completely circular, but mostly circular. It is just slightly elongated. Those are the ones that we prefer. It is smaller in the front than it is in the back. It is from the top view, it looks like a elongated circle, and from the front view, it looks as if it's a triangle, and it is getting smaller at the front and larger in the back triangularly.
I see. Now I'm going to ask you for a little favor. I have the idea that if I know a lot of details about the inside of the craft that you and the family are in, perhaps I can project myself astrally or at least put out the request to visit. Would you mind describing the inside of that craft that you and the family travel in?
The one that we most likely manifest.
Yes,
The problem is with Solara being so young, his wishes and desires change drastically.
I'm
So
sure.
as this happens, the interior also changes, as it is a
Oh,
co-creation of the family. But in the average, at the very front, there are three seats. Myself and Tara are usually the ones who are sitting in the front area of this. If you look down, there is a dash that is clear. It is similar to your crystalline substances.
yes,
Um, Quartz, I believe, is the name of the
yes.
crystal. Yes, but it is very clear. It is crystal clear with no puns intended. And it is
Right, right.
approximately 8 inches thick. And it sits approximately 2 foot out from the very front of the craft. And it comes into a triangular shape as the front is triangular. And on this dash, there are many installations of small detailed connections. Each one of these are a pinpoint, and each one of these has a different function. There are literally thousands upon this dash that is approximately 3 foot at the longest, 1 foot at its shortest, and approximately 8 inches thick across. There are thousands of these, and each one of them are integrated directly to our own consciousness. So as we place our hands upon the dash, there are different functions, and it mostly connects to the intent that we carry. And each individual point is guided to us by our own hands. There is no free will movement of our hands. We control this. It is instinctively and connectedly to this craft. The consciousness that we have is interjected into this crystalline substance and brought all the way throughout the craft. And it helps us guide not just the handwork, not just the maneuvering along this dash, but also it helps us connect our true soul to the craft. And this is why it changes at will.
Right. How wide is the view? In other words, we call what we call here the windshield in a car, the view from your from the cockpit, as we call it here, from where you're driving. How wide is that view?
It is all translucent. It is all able to be seen through the entire craft as we are traveling.
Oh,
It is translucent because it changes from transparent to slightly less transparent.
I see. I see. And the gauges, as we call them, they don't have numbers or letters. How do they manifest? Just with the crystal and with your consciousness uh, directing it.
Yes, these pinpoints that I spoke of, when your hands are going over it and consciousness connects to it, there can be different variations. If we wish to see something, if we wish to see what the planet looks like that we are traveling to, then there will be a raising from this specific panel, approximately 4 inches by 8 inches, and each one of these will show us a representation of what that planet looks energetically from our subconscious knowing and coming out. So it would be a see-through screen, or appear to be a see-through purple and blue light screen that comes up from this, and we're able to see anything. There is no gauges needed and how much gasoline that is left or how much fuel that is left. It's not propulsionized in this way. So we are just able to see things that we wish to see. I need to understand what the physical parts of this planet look like, and then we are shown. I need to understand how the solar system that we're going to arrive at is set up, in the planets and the variations and the trajectories, and then it is shown to us.
Amazing. So it is all you from anywhere inside the craft, you can see all around you outside in space.
Absolutely.
Excellent. What about, okay, I think I have a pretty, so the area where you're sitting and let's call it driving the craft is open. There's no separation between that and the back where the rest of the family is.
Absolutely. Within our own manifested craft, there are 5 seats. 2 in the front for myself, and then the 3 that remain behind.
I see. I see. So each time you want to travel, you manifest this type of craft.
Absolutely. This manifestation, there is always a shell of this craft available. When we go to the place where this craft is, it is always a square, a cube, if you will. And when we enter it, when we place our consciousness, then it adjusts to the size and shape that we desire. So they are all starting as a square, a large square, approximately 20 foot by 20 foot cube. And when we enter it, when we all place our consciousness, when we wish to desire to manifest, it takes the shape, the form, and the size that we choose.
So when you say you want to come to Earth, you picture our solar system and you know what Earth looks like, and then all of your consciousnesses focus on this idea of Earth, and that's how you would transport yourselves here in that craft?
Absolutely perfect. This is a great description of it, dear one.
So I guess my next question, you can imagine what it is. When will you be doing that and bringing me on board so I can visit?
We make trips to you very often, sometimes even up to twice in 1 month period. This is not a pre-planned concept. It is the resonance in the moment. But there is a great excitement to come see you very soon, as all of the children have been re-excited by this connection.
Well, I am very excited too, and now I'm even more excited to know this. What do I need to do
Yes,
on my
dear one.
end?
You just need to keep what you have been doing, to keep your heart open, to keep your excitement focused on connecting outward to all of the entities that are loving and all of the entities who have connections to you that you are not aware of. Just this excitement alone is what brings us. If you place a correct intent, an intent that is completely focused on the connection to all of us and intensified by your love and by your heart and your mindset, doing this before sleep state, doing this all of the day that you are able to remember, repeating this excitement that you wish to be with us. This helps open the portal to ourselves to share our excitements with you and co-create.
Oh, excellent. Would you, for the sake of detail, I'm very I'm very detailed. What is the order of sitting? Who's on the right? Who's on the left? Who's in the middle?
In the way that you see the front row, the very right side is myself. And then on the left side is Tara. And sometimes Maura sits behind me, sometimes she is sitting in the middle, but Alma is always to the far left, and Solara takes whichever spot Maura does not.
Ah, okay. Now I have a pretty good picture. What are we going to do? You only have 5 seats. When I come on board, where am I going to sit?
When your consciousness enters, the 6th seat is manifested.
I hope so. I'll stand. I don't mind. I'll stand on the craft.
It is a lovely view, whether sitting or standing, especially when you are with your family.
That's excellent.
Uh,
And is there any wonderful? I visualized it, so I know it's going to be happening soon. Uh,
yes.
how is there anything that would be an issue as far as me adapting on being on the craft in a semi-physical state?
There is no semi-physical. By the time that we would pick you up in order to see you and coexist with you, we would change our vibration. We would
Ah,
divide ourselves down so that we could be physical with you, and the craft follows suit.
oh, that's the part I guess that I was wondering about. So the craft follows suit. It will also break down to a fourth density or third density, say.
Absolutely, dear one.
Oh, how fascinating! Oh, I can't wait. I can't. That is just great. Oh, wow. Maybe I'll be able to bring a camera and take pictures of us and the family.
Absolutely, dear one.
I'm serious. I'll grab one and bring it. This is just great. This is so wonderful.
If you
Um,
continue to remind yourself of a technology that you carry around with you to make calls, there's always cameras in those technologies. And if
yes.
you remind yourself before you sleep to sleep next to this, this can also help you if you break through this conscious remembering.
Oh, so I could bring with me what we call here a cell phone that has a camera in it.
Absolutely.
How would that happen? It gets rematerialized, broken down, and then
This is
again.
for physical connections only. When we take you physically, it would be the same. And if you have this cellular technology on your physical self, in your hand or in your pocket, it will come with you.
Oh, how wonderful! Oh, great.
Unfortunately, you will not be able to bring this camera in an astral state unless you are powerful enough with your intent to make one. But then bringing it home can be very difficult.
Right. No, the physical project that you just proposed, that's what I was looking for. That's what I was looking for.
Absolutely, dear one.
Oh, this is so great. I'll be able to be with everybody, and I'll make it a point to have memories. If not, I'll look at the pictures that I took. And oh, this is just great. This is just great. Is
This
there
is very
anything?
exciting, dear one.
Oh, it is. I think you can sense my excitement. And in our last communication with you and Alma, the direct one, that one of the ones that we have telepathically and telepathically, there was some notion of this, that there was something that could be done. And now I understand what the thoughts that I was getting from both of you, that there was something. So very much appreciated.
There is always a way to make your excitedness come to the surface.
Yes. Is there any questions that the children have for me?
I am speaking to them now. Solar brings one that perhaps you might not see a relevance for, but there is a high resonance in this. When you are eating your favorite food, what is the sensation like to the physical body?
When we're eating our favorite food, it's, well, for example, let's pick one. Ice cream. Ice cream is one of the favorite foods down here. It has a sweetness to it, and it's in different flavors that I'm not sure how they relate to where you are. But the feeling is of something that you cannot get enough of. Even when you're full, when your body's full, satisfied, you still want more. Does that make sense?
It makes great sense to me, and with Solar, I will work with him on this idea.
Yeah, but it's like tasting something that gives you these sensations, this uplifting sensations and feelings, and you want more of it.
I am relating this to the idea of connecting to the animals that he so much loves upon our own planet, and the time that he spends sometimes seeming as if it is not enough.
Can you share with me, can Solara share with me which animal is his favorite one, and would he describe it, or would you describe it for me, please?
Yes, absolutely. I am passing this information along. There's one that's called Marita, Marina. I am not sure if this translates well to your own language,
Marina.
Marina.
We'll
And
call
this
Marina.
specific animal is a flat animal that has very close to fur, much like your animal's fur there, perhaps a thick and rugged fur. And it's very flat and very long, and it has only one eye. And this one eye is always changing in color, and this brings such great excitement to Solera.
Is it a ground animal or is it a water animal?
It is a ground animal. It is always on the ground moving. Similar to the animal with no legs, your snake, but it does not move even close to the same fashion.
And how big is it?
In your size, it's approximately only 1 1/2 of your feet.
Ah,
And off of the ground, it is only 3 to 4 inches.
and that what type of skin does it have?
It has a very rugged skin. A feeling similar would be a very light and sandy rock.
And I see. Oh, kind of like a lizard here, I guess. And are they pets? Can they become pets, or are they just, in the sense, wild that they cannot be domesticated?
There is not a sense of either. It is a sense of animal and our own race resonance. Each of these animals appear to us in a time in which we need them and they need us. So there is never an ownership or there is never a wildness. There
I
is
see.
only a meeting of resonance. Trevor is explaining to myself that time is becoming very
Yes.
short in our connection, and if you wish to speak to him, perhaps the time to connect to him would be now.
Okay. Is there anything to end this session that you would like to share with me?
I wish to explain to you that the love of our heart is very deep, and I know that you are very aware of this, but to be able to speak the words in this way is finally brought such great excitement to myself, and I have been able to wait and manifest this dream of being able to connect to you in this way where you will be able to remember now for over 20 years. And I love you very deeply, and I am very, very happy that our connection from this point forward will always be more remembering and less forgetting. And I love you very deeply, and the children are sending their love to you also.
I love you very deeply too, Maura, and the same with the children. I feel you in my heart. I feel all of them in my heart, and I think about you all a lot and very often. So I look forward to our meeting on the craft.
Absolutely, my love. I am great to speak to you again, my dear, and we will speak very soon, dear one.
The
We love
same.
you.
I love you too. My love to all. Hugs.